Well, I'm really pleased to be standing here at the National Triathlon Training Center in Claremont, Florida, with my colleague, my most valued colleague, Darbi Roberts, and we've just finished almost a week of coaching together. And what I wanted to chat briefly about Darbi with this morning was the fact that she's done something really extraordinary as an athlete, which is last November in Ironman, Arizona. It was she did a 9:05, which was a significant leap forward for her in triathlon, and it really puts her in kind of the elite ranks. And Darbi is a professional, and while she's a professional, she doesn't sort of have the luxury that many people imagine professionals have of just being able to focus on triathlon. She has a very demanding life outside triathlon, and I just wanted to let Darbi share with you how the TI method helps her balance all those demands and succeed on the level she has. Over to you, Darbi.
Thanks. Yeah, so as Terry mentioned, I do race as a professional triathlete. I've been racing as a pro for the last 3 years. This will be my 3rd season as a pro. I also have a 9-to-5 job that's not always 9 to 5. I am currently finishing a dissertation in education.
And what is that job that you have, 9 to 5?
Yes, sorry, I work at Columbia University in student affairs. And it's very rewarding, of course. I have a husband and friends, and hopefully somewhat of a social life.
Full life.
Yeah, outside of triathlon, certainly. I think certainly TI is all about balance, but I think it's particularly so. The idea behind TI is that it's efficiency, but the point that I take away, I think, the most is that you don't always have to be the fastest or the best or the most, not necessarily not the most hardworking, but it's about doing the most with what you have. And I feel like certainly as it relates to the 9:05 at Ironman Arizona, that was certainly the case. In life, that's certainly the case. I try to balance all of those different areas of my life as much as humanly possible, and really make a point to prioritize certain things, and so during different times of the year, some things will be more important than others. Yeah. Same thing with your, practicing your swim strokes. Certainly, sometimes you choose to focus on one particular focal point, and other times you do others, and it makes you better in that area. And so that's kind of how I view my life as well. Particularly at Ironman Arizona, it was a great race. It was, definitely, it was a PR, I think, by about 15 minutes for me, 15, 17 minutes.
When you're at that level, that's quite a chunk of time.
It is, yeah. My previous PR, I think, was a 9:24, and so to come from that down to almost 20 minutes. But particularly that race was really interesting to me because I felt like typically my goal is to get out in front of the pack as much as possible and try to lead so that I can then get out of the water, have as much of a lead on everybody else because swimming is my strength. So I figured, do the best at swimming, and then the bike and the run will follow. Well, at Ironman Arizona, what was interesting is there were several people from the start that I realized I was not going to be able to keep up with, or if I did, I would be working way too hard, and then I would be out of myself. I would be swimming outside myself, and then my bike and my run would suffer as a result. So I chose to let the first pack go. There was only 2 people in it, so I didn't feel too bad. One of them was Meredith Kessler, who ended up winning the race by a significant chunk, so I was okay with that.
Yeah.
The second pack I stuck with, and I just decided to take it easy, and I sat on some feet for pretty much the entire way.
So very strategic swimming.
Yes, absolutely, because I knew that the amount of energy, I was thinking in my head, the amount of energy that it would take for me to pass these people would be more than was worth it to actually be in front of them. And so instead...
Such a valuable perspective for the average triathlete.
Yeah. And so I just kind of stuck behind him, and I ended up getting out of the water right behind him, and looked down at my watch, and it was a PR by a solid minute. So not only did I save energy as a result of staying behind them, but I also was able to sort of keep myself calm and keep myself within my own head.
And what was your time for that swim?
It was a 51 and change.
Yeah.
Can't remember exactly.
I think what's really interesting here for me is that, at 51 minutes for an Ironman swim leg, Darbi is definitely in the elite levels of Ironman swimming. And yet, it was really important for her to swim easily. As good as a swimmer, and you've swum for how many years?
Since I was 3, and
since she was 3, she was
32.
swimming, used to swimming hard, could swim hard without blowing up, I think better than most people, and yet she made a strategic choice to save oxygen and heartbeats and keep your powder dry, so to speak,
yep.
for when it would make a much greater difference.
Yeah, and it did ultimately, because my bike and my run PRs were also, or my bike and run times were also PRs as a result.
And the marathon by quite a bit, right?
Yeah, the marathon was probably my best by at least 20 minutes. So
wow.
Yeah.
So, well, anything else?
Nope.
All right. And I really appreciate, and I'm so grateful to have you as a colleague and to have spent this week working together.
It was wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.